as well as for those people to give them a chance to live. So we responded people to that fire. It turned out there was no one trapped. We made 2 initial entries, declared that there was no one inside and not trapped, and so then we removed our people back to safety.
Certainly, we are thankful to hear that no one was inside that house. Hopefully the call was made for the right reasons. If not, well, that's something that I'm sure that the department will want to know about, and they'll deal with that. But right now they have a lot on their plate, more than 100 calls today alone. I tell you, I was actually just in the Emergency Operations Center a short while ago. There are a lot of people, and originally they thought they were going to get to go home early. They didn't think this thing was going to hit them that hard. One fire department officer that I talked to told me that he recently was told, you might want to take a nap. We're going to be here through the end of the day, possibly into tomorrow. We're in Spring Hill. Matthew Smith, ABC Action News.
All right, Matthew, thank you. And I tell you, that tree coming down, I see a theme here, a common theme from Hernando County out to Polk County and down to Sarasota County. Trees, part of the lasting impact from Hurricane Irma. And it cuts off, not only does it potentially knock out the power, but it cuts off access because that tree, as you saw behind Matthew, was spread out all across the road. No one's getting through that road anytime soon until they cut that thing up.
And I've just been kind of just looking at some of the comments that some of our viewers are sending us. Some of them had power, some of them don't have power, whatever it might be. But many of them are just kind of talking about what's happening outside of their home. And really the question that we're asking people, if you see this, please let us know. Yeah. Where can people get food and gas? Now you can go on gasbuddy.com. They have a feature on there. You can use this on your cell phone or on your computer if you still have power. But on that app, you can see where there are places or gas stations where they have gas or gas stations that are actually out of. Look, we're talking about gas, and we have our ABC Action News reporter, Nicole Grigg, is at a gas station right now, hopefully a place where there is gas. Nicole, where are you?
One in Duncan Road. We were just driving down the road, and we saw people lined up outside Victory Lane store. The owner didn't even open yet, but people were just showing up. Good news. He tells us he is about to open these gas pumps right here. He was going around already cutting some of the bags, some of the zip ties around here. But here's the thing. I'm told that he only has a little bit of gas, so I don't know how far that's going to go. But if you come this way, just for a quick second, you can see there's already a line. There's already cars kind of probably been driving around doing the same thing as us. We have been looking for gas since 7 o'clock this morning. So I think we're going on almost 3 hours now. We were finally just a quarter tank, and then we saw this. So we pulled up our own car too. We're waiting to find some gas. So people going inside, they were waiting outside already. It looks like a lot of people, I've seen them trying to use their card. It's not working yet, so I don't know if it's a delay, but everyone's still parking. People are driving by, and then they're trying to come into the parking lot too, because I know that they need gas. Is it working yet, sir? Is it working yet?
I'm trying out right now.
Yeah, I know. How long have you been driving around looking for gas?
For like an hour.
Exactly. Is this how far have you been driving?
From all the way from Ruskin all the way to Tampa and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's like everywhere. Did you go inside and talk to the owner? What was he saying?
No, I didn't go inside.
You didn't go inside yet? Oh, what did he say?
We're going to get back with our Nicole Grigg in just a moment, but we do have a press conference happening in Hernando County right now.
I want to get you some new information here coming out of Hernando, images of downed trees and flooding there. So let's go live to the Emergency Management Office for a live update on the damage in Hernando County. Listen in.
They're okay and make it that it's safe for you to travel around the county. To get more detail and instruction, I want to go ahead and turn it over to our Emergency Management Director, Cecilia Patella. Thank you.
Good morning. So the Emergency Operations Center continued to monitor the event overnight. Right now, as Commissioner Champion said, we have widespread power outages, debris on roadways, power lines on roadways, and so I reiterate his caution for our residents to remain indoors, stay safely at your location, do not venture outdoors until we have an opportunity to deploy those teams to give us information, until the power companies have the opportunity to de-energize some of those lines and safely remove the debris out of the roadway so that it is safe to travel. So we encourage you to please stay where you are. Our upcoming concerns are the rising levels of the Withlacoochee River. We want to make sure that our residents along the river are aware that that river is going to go into at least moderate flood stage on the southern part and at least to close to moderate flood stage on the northern part of the county near Croom. So from Trilby all the way to Croom, and that's county line to county line, residents need to be aware. They need to be prepared to seek higher ground and be prepared to do so quickly. We have information on those flood gauges. They are available online, but it is available on our website. If you need more information about that, please call our office hotline at 352-754-4083. The other area of concern that we have this morning is the upcoming high tide and the potential for storm surge along our western coastline. That area is still in an evacuation status. We urge our residents to try to refrain from going there to inspect your property at this time, simply because we have not given the all clear. We do know that there are power lines that are down. We know there's debris blocking roadways. And so until we have an opportunity to inspect and fully clear that area, it is a dangerous location to be attempting to enter. We do have shelters still open. We understand that some of the residents have left, but we want to make sure that you try to stay where you are so that you are safe until we have an opportunity to check all of our infrastructure. Boil water notices are in effect, as you know, within the city of Brooksville and also east of I-75. Make sure that you're taking the proper precautions with respect to the boil water notice. Okay, next up is Sheriff's Office.
Good morning. My name is Captain Harold Hutchinson. I'm the Patrol Division Commander for the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. I'd just like to thank the Hernando County residents for their patience during Hurricane Irma. It's very helpful that we have your utmost patience and cooperation with us while we attempt to restore order here in Hernando County in regards to your safety and clearing hazards from our roadways. It's not too long ago that the storm passed over Hernando County, and we have allowed our first responders to be able to get back on the road and help out our citizens. We have just finished the process of deploying fresh troops out on the street and allowed the midnight shift to go home and get some rest. We're currently working hard to assess the damages in the low-lying areas and making sure that it is safe for you to pass to go home and check on your homes. We understand your frustration, and we just ask that you be patient with us while we work on that. We're working not only with the county, but our deputies themselves are out clearing trees in the low-lying areas like Tropical Drive. We're aware of the waters that's starting to come over the road in Arapica, and we're keeping an eye on all of that along Shawline Boulevard as well as across the east side of the county with the river. So please be patient with us while we work on assessing those hazards. There are a lot of down power lines, and we want to make sure that they are not live and that you get hurt. So please be patient with us while we assess that. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Dr. Romano next.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lori Romano. I'm the superintendent of the school district, and we have several things to share with you this morning. Our shelter sites are still operating. We're watching counts and trying to help people to safely get back to their homes. I have two shelter sites that are under boiled water notice. That's Dolores, that's Parrott Middle School, and Hernando High School, so just so people are aware of that. I have two shelters that do not have power and have struggled with power throughout the night. That's Dolores, that's Parrott Middle School, and West Hernando Middle School. If I have any transportation department staff, that's the Hernando County School District Transportation Department staff, you need to contact our Director of Transportation, Mr. Ralph Leith. He's trying to reach you. We are, as soon as it's safe to be back on the roads, we will be arranging transportation for all of our special needs residents and any other residents that we transported to shelters. And last but not least, certainly, is we've made the decision to close schools in Hernando County for the rest of this week due to the significant...
All right, if you're just joining us, we're getting a live update there from Hernando County. 3 big takeaways, I think, Laura. Widespread power outages, down trees in Hernando, and still the concern, at least according to emergency officials there on the ground, of the potential for flooding along the rivers there in Hernando County and even storm surge on the coast. So they're watching that very closely.
Also want to mention that Hernando County schools are closed for the rest of the week. That was something that she pointed out there. And even people in the shelters are dealing with the power outages because 2 of the shelters are out of power. 2 of them are on a boil water notice. That's
happening all over the Tampa Bay area. In fact, we just got this progress report about 30 minutes ago from Pinellas County. And you talk about shelters, and people went there obviously to escape Irma's damage. But overnight, 17 shelters, 24,000 residents, 2,000 with special needs. 7 shelters did experience power outages. So even when you went to a shelter, that wasn't a guarantee that, of course, the power was going to stay on. Irma's winds, demolishing homes and businesses. We went to this live shot earlier. Let's go back to Nick Saletti at the scene of this gas station that experienced some damage. This is in Clearwater.
I would say as far as...
We're here at Drew in Cleveland, and I want to show you what's happening right now. You can see part of this roof was ripped off by Irma. You can see a volunteer is on there right now. And what this group is trying to do is to demolish the rest of the roof because they're worried that it could come down with another strong gust. So they think it is a lot safer if they just take it down so that way they can make sure it does not fall off and possibly hit somebody. They're asking us to back up, so we're going to listen. But you can see it is just a mangled mess right now. The wind's so strong. They toppled that end awning right there, right by those gas pumps. I spoke with the owner, and he says, thankfully, nobody was inside at the time. But you can see very precarious work that they're doing. And these are all volunteers. There are 5 volunteers here right now who are trying to help out the owner. I'm going to speak to him real quick. Ray, you're the owner of this gas station. How did you find out about this last night?
I sent one of my manager to check it out, and he told me that about 6:30 he saw that the whole canopy fell down. And the whole station got the total loss. Thanks God that nobody was here. This happened between 2 and 4 a.m. And I hope the city can give us the permit so we can remodel the whole place to help the community back again.
Yeah, I mean, that is so amazing that nobody was inside, nobody was hurt by this, because just looking at the damage, I mean, that could have seriously injured somebody.
You're right, absolutely, because a lot of metal wire in there, a lot of electric wire in there. And thanks God that it didn't fly up to anybody's house or anything. But the whole big canopy, about 70 feet, is fell down in one side and 70 feet on the other side.
Okay, and this is a 5-pump gas station. If you're familiar with Clearwater, it's right at Drew in Cleveland. And these are actually volunteers that came to just help you out, right?
Right, they are from Scientology nearby, and they are our customer. And thanks to them, they are about 10 of the volunteers came in and helped us out since last 2 hours.
And they're going to help you until the end of this project, right?
Exactly. They're going to finish everything and cut up the whole canopy so it won't fall down on anybody's house or anybody's walking by.
Okay, I got to ask you this. After all of this has happened, are you going to rebuild?
Yes, definitely, because we are the only station. The station been there for 55 years. This is the oldest station in Clearwater. And we're going to back helping out the community after we rebuild.
Ray, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck. So sorry that this happened to you. As you can see, these volunteers are up there. The one is on the end there. They're trying to disconnect that part of the awning that was just ripped apart by Irma. We know that those winds and those gusts were so strong, it's no surprise that something like this happened. What they're trying to do is do it carefully so that way they don't injure anyone, and also they want to make sure they don't compromise the remaining structure. They just want to get that part off because they are very concerned that if they don't, a strong gust could come by and then blow it off, and who knows what could happen there. That would definitely put someone at risk for getting injured. So we're going to stay here and monitor the progress of this and let you know how it goes. But throughout the rest of Clearwater, we've seen plenty of downed trees. We were just up the block at a condo complex, and we saw that part of that complex had its roof ripped off. So a lot of people dealing with that wind damage right now. Just amazing to watch what they're doing. And, of course, we want to give them the space that they need and make sure that they're staying safe. But we will continue to stay on top of this and the rest of the damage here in Clearwater. Reporting live this morning, Nick Soletti, ABC Action News.
Nick, thank you. And just a further proof of the power of Irma there. And really those gas canopies that you see at gas stations almost create a perfect wind tunnel in a sense that wind comes under it and it can do some damage. And as Nick just said, other homes apparently experiencing damages as well. We're dipping into our crews all across our area, including throughout the state of Florida. Our crews everywhere assessing damage from Hurricane Irma this morning.
And our Michael Paluska, I feel like, has been everywhere in the state of Florida in the last 72 hours. Michael Paluska now, though, in Naples with the very latest there. Michael, we saw some of that drone video from Naples. It was devastating. I mean, that video was just incredible. What are you all seeing where you are?
Well, you know, we woke up this morning in Port Charlotte and we were relieved because a lot of people told us, you know, they survived the storm, and then we knew we had to come south to Naples, and this is probably the saddest thing we've been able to find today. Unfortunately, this is a trailer park, Naples Estates. You can just see the destruction here. We just spoke to a Collier County Sheriff's deputy who said, hey, did these people evacuate? He said, you know what, we don't know, but at this point, according to emergency officials and emergency management, there are no fatalities reported. So thank God. You just see this trailer park, a crumpled ball of steel, and this entire area decimated. This area obviously looks the worst because it's a trailer park and these homes aren't as built as structurally as a regular concrete block home. But this is what it looked like as soon as we got into the Naples proper area. For as far as the eye could see, there was damage on very well built structural homes and very expensive homes we drove by. A lot of water on the roads, and you can just take a look at all this. I mean, these people are going to have to rebuild. We don't know if some of these foundations were shifted off the block, which means that they probably will have to start from scratch. So, you know, this is the worst damage we've seen here at Naples Estates. A Charlotte County deputy telling us Immokalee was hit just as hard. We also know there's a couple of other neighborhoods just around the corner that look just like this. I could not imagine being outside in this, riding the storm out inside one of these trailer parks, trying to figure out whether or not your house was going to get hit by a tornado, whether or not the winds from the hurricane itself were going to blow down your house. So we see to the right, they boarded up here. I assume they probably evacuated. Their car's still here. You know, maybe they got a family car that they left and they took off in another vehicle, but, you know, no one's here. And in these types of situations, you know, people go to the shelters and then they come back and see everything's gone. Look, I mean, this is some intense, big piles of metal, and it was just picked up and thrown like you couldn't imagine. And in fact, right in front of us is house. I know we only have one fixed camera, but it looks like that whole house had the roof blown off.
Just incredible, and you're really driving through the heart of what this story is all about, the contrasting views of damage. At some areas, not so bad, people waking up relieved, but where you are there in Naples, when you heard the mayor of Miami talk about, you know, nuclear hurricane, and maybe he took some criticism for being dramatic about that, but for those people that live in that mobile home park who are coming back home to nothing, for them, this was a major disaster. And I just hope and pray that the people that live there, Michael, and I don't know if you know this or not, evacuated and we're not trying to ride this storm out. Any evidence that those folks heeded the warnings?
You know, I would say the safe bet is that they didn't stay here and ride it out because there were no fatalities reported, and deputies have been going through this neighborhood, and the deputy we just spoke to said they haven't come in here and pulled anybody out. They haven't rendered medical aid to anybody. So yeah, you know, I think they'll probably have to go in and clear each home. But for now, I'd say it's a safe bet, them telling us no fatalities. And there would be. I mean, unless you got extremely lucky and you were inside this home that we're about to pull up in front of, this whole thing is gone. I mean, the whole front living room or whatever room that is ripped out. And on the bottom right, if you can look, that is a giant palm tree, the entire width of this driveway all the way down. I do see there's a door open over there. I don't know if there's anyone in there that came back to survey the damage that maybe evacuated inland, but I mean, that is a palm tree that just was thrown in and took this house out. So yeah, let's hope, you know, the safe side, that they evacuated and that they were safe. And, you know, as you mentioned, people taking criticism for the storm, you know, we thought that too, but people don't realize that this thing dissipated and this area took the brunt of it. And the reason why North Florida and Tampa and everything didn't get hurt as bad is because this southern part absorbed all the blow. So thank God it didn't strengthen and head up to us, or we'd be seeing that up in our northern counties in our viewing area as well.
Absolutely, Michael. You know, the mayor of Bob Buckhorn perhaps had the line of the day yesterday, saying that you don't have a plan until you get punched in the face, or you have a plan until you get punched in the face. And those folks down there in that area in Naples really took it hard, especially in that mobile home park. Picture proof right there of why they have the urgency behind the message of evacuations. So you just feel for those folks.
And I want to give a quick update. I know a lot of people thinking about gas and thinking about food right now. So I did get this update from our Nicole Grigg, who was out there at that gas station. I know we kind of missed part of this. It's Victory Lane BP off of 301. So that's where she is right now.
In Hillsborough County.
In Hillsborough County with minimal gas. So, I mean, if you're in a dire situation, again, we're asking people to stay home.
Well, and the other side of that, people are coming back. I can guarantee you that 301 it was an alternate route north and south, but probably people going north, obviously. I would imagine people who went north to get out of this storm are probably already coming back.
Right.
And they got to get gas. They're trying to get their life back together.
And we're also making calls to find food, for a lot of people who are asking about the grocery stores and that sort of thing. The only thing I've heard, and we're getting the information in from our viewers, but viewers are saying that La Teresita is open over on West Columbus.
Hey,
so at least you have that, and it is hot food. But we also want to talk about the roads right now. Traffic anchor Lindsay Logue has an update for us on what the roads look like. Lindsay?
Yeah, and I want to show you guys a couple different things that we have. So we're going to start here. This is going to be conditions on the roadways, and if you give it a couple seconds, it should pop up. This is from Florida Highway Patrol, and in just a couple of minutes, you will see hundreds of icons. Hopefully here, it's on my computer, so it should pop up there. Hundreds of icons popping up there on the state. If you guys just give it about 10 seconds, there you go. So take a look. You can see where Gainesville is on the map. Center top, and you see all those yellow triangles with the exclamation marks? All of that is storm-related damage and debris. So from what they're reporting right now is southbound from Gainesville down through Ocala. For anyone who's watching on our mobile app right now, or anyone who has family who left town, they are working as fast as they can right now to clear trees and debris from I-75. Lanes are open, but you may have to zigzag around some of the debris up there. It's what I'm hearing also from our affiliate in Orlando, who happens to be up in that area. So that's just one of the problems. Closer to home, this is what things look like. US I-75 rather, near Progress Boulevard. The heaviest traffic, of course, is going to be going southbound. Not going to have a problem. Crashes, breakdowns, you guys are smooth sailing. Florida Highway Patrol, I do have to say, did an incredible job the first few hours of this morning. They cleared flipped over cars and trucks that were in ditches on the side of the road. They picked up palm fronds and other trees that had fallen on these majors so that you guys could get home. On the right-hand side, that is going to be I-4. Heaviest traffic there is going to be westbound, and those are the lanes there on the left as people head back from Orlando, or maybe even all the way over from the East Coast. A little bit closer to home and maybe your neighborhoods, you are definitely going to see more debris on the ground and trees, but most of that stuff is in what we call like a block neighborhood where you can easily turn left and right and navigate through. None of the majors like 301 are blocked right now because of trees and debris. Again, they've done a really good job about clearing all of that up. One thing I do want to mention, Greg D and I were talking about this, for anyone who is north of I-10 on I-75 or just north of I-10 period, trying to come home, today may not be the best day to do that. You're still under this storm watch or storm warning, and the road conditions up there are not going to be ideal. Not to mention I-10 is underwater up there at I-75. So something to think about.
Yeah, that storm is headed right in their direction. We've got tropical storm warnings up to Atlanta for the first time ever. First time ever, Atlanta has been under a tropical storm warning. So we're definitely watching this system. So if you know someone that evacuated to Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, or South Carolina, today is not the day to travel. I am watching data here coming out of Charleston. They're seeing flooding downtown. There's going to be flash flooding inland South Carolina, North Georgia. Once this hits the mountains lift the moisture. You're going to produce a lot of rain. I would wait it out and see what this thing does. They're also expecting sporadic wind damage up in the Atlanta area because of the strong winds as Irma continues up north. So these are our watches and warnings, but they actually go all the way up. And good news here, guys, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Polk County South, no more tropical storm warnings for us. So this is going to give the crews down here a good thumbs up to go out and really start restoring power. We don't expect strong winds. Here's how to get to me at Greg Do Weather. If you've got questions about evacuees and all that, want to send me a weather report, lots of ways to do it. I don't expect the winds to be up for the rest of the day, so that's looking really good, guys.
Yeah, and that was one of the things, Greg, thank you for that update, we were kind of concerned about is as this storm moves north, all the people that left here to move north to higher ground, and now they may be getting it. I know some people that went to Charleston, and now Charleston has got some problems.
And they're driving back. That's exactly what I was about to do, was text a friend of mine who's driving back from Charleston right now. And I was just asking Greg, as well as James, you know, I have family in Atlanta. A lot of people have family just going up that way, even in the Panhandle, you know, and you're like, everybody just stay put. If everybody could just stay put. What you're looking at right now, though, is our live drive camera. I do believe this is our Carson Chambers.
Carson Chambers on I-275 southbound there. Carson, how's it looking?
Hey guys, it's looking pretty good actually. We just crossed the Howard Franklin into St. Pete. You can see we're coming up to the 5th Avenue North exit and everything is looking pretty clear. The traffic, of course, a little bit more heavy coming into Pinellas County because the bridges were shut down for so long. So folks are trying to get back over here into Pinellas County if they were over in Hillsborough taking shelter. Coming around the bend here on East I-75, you can see Tropicana Field coming up on our left, and it looks like we do have an emergency vehicle, an ambulance over here on our left. Not sure what that is, but they are running their flashing lights. So traffic is looking pretty clear. We have not seen any wrecks so far coming across the Howard Franklin. That is very good news. Do you guys have any questions?
All right, Carson, thank you very much. You know, as we dip into our eyes and cameras and reporters throughout our area and throughout the state assessing the damage today, priority number 1, power, 2, fuel, 3, food. We're working on that right now to get you those answers. But I got to tell you, the governor, you heard the urgency in his voice leading up to this storm. His number 1 priority, Laura, was making sure there was no human loss of life.
And there you go.
And if you are going to grade on us on how we did in this storm, any loss of life is tragic. But when you compare it to storms that we are familiar with in the past, that may be the best measure that you can judge us by.
And speaking of power, because Paul just mentioned that again, we're just trying to make sure that we're giving you the information as we're getting it. 8,000 workers for Duke Energy were ready to respond. So that's the thing, you know, they're getting out there, they're trying to get power on. The issue now becomes these large trees that are on top of power lines, or the water that's still standing in somebody's neighborhood, because as we keep telling people, just because it looks nice outside, because we see blue skies in some areas, do not walk in puddles, do not walk in water that you can't see to the bottom of, because you don't know the hidden dangers. Even if it's not even electricity that you're worried about, but just the animals that come out, the critters, that kind of thing.
There's that too. You know, and I tell you, we are assessing the damage. We're doing that right now. I know people this morning that are literally going to chainsaw their way home if they have to, because roads have been cut off by trees in certain areas. But there are signs of good news, and there are signs of not so good news. It all depends on where you live. We're assessing that as we speak. We got a newsroom right over there, full of people making phone calls. Yeah, and we're going to be getting this information to you throughout the day. So I think we want to go to break here and take a time out. But when we come back, we're going to get new reports, because we've got stuff coming in minute by minute. You're watching live coverage of Hurricane Irma, the aftermath, on this Monday morning.
But I think, all in all, I think we were lucky.
A lot of people saying that this morning. We could have had a lot worse damage considering the size and strength of that storm. Charlotte County, too, in the recovery process as we speak. They're providing welfare checks on request. This was video this morning in Charlotte County as ambulances were leaving to check on people. If you need a welfare check on a person without medical issues, you can call the emergency management hotline. Just dial 211. For somebody who has a medical condition, call the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. They'll make sure it's a priority.
Some news for you from Sanibel now. The Sanibel Causeway, it is not open. Now, Lee County officials say the bridge has been checked. It is structurally fine, but the city of Sanibel will not reopen it until tomorrow. The county has also cleared the Matt Lachey Bridge on Pine Island and the Big Carlos Pass Bridge between Fort Myers Beach and Bonita Beach, but the island's still trying to clear the roadways on the island and make that safe. So we'll continue to keep in touch with them and let you know when that changes. Here's an update, too, on the school closings. Lee, Collier, and Hendry County schools are now closed today through Friday. Cape Coral Municipal Charter Schools are closed today. And we will keep you updated on that, too.
Yep, and there could be more. Florida Gulf Coast University will be closed all week this week, they tell us this morning. The university says they need the time to assess and clean up after Hurricane Irma. They also have a lot of students sheltered on campus there. Even though it doesn't appear the campus sustained any major damage, the campus again is expected to reopen a week from today, Monday the 18th.
And FSW, Florida Southwestern State College, will also remain closed through Wednesday, September 13th. These closings include FSW's campuses in Fort Myers, Naples, and Punta Gorda, plus the Henry Glades Curtis Center in LaBelle. FSW's collegiate high schools and child care centers will also remain closed. Hendry County is experiencing technical difficulties with the 911 system and all non-emergency phone lines. If you have an emergency, continue to try to call 911, but you can also follow up on the Hendry County Emergency Management's Facebook page or the website, preparehenry.com.
Lots of areas under a boil water alert right now. They include Sanibel, Captiva, Arcadia, Collier County Water District customers, Marco Island, Bonita Beach, Fort Myers Beach, Big Hickory and Little Hickory Island, and Black Island North. Charlotte County utility customers west of the Mayaca River and Boca Grande. These boil water alerts are in effect until further notice. We have them all on our website and app for you, so if you want to check at any point to see if you're included, you can go right there. New power outage numbers from LCEC. 170,000 customers in this area are without power. LCEC says they're beginning to restore power to essential services like hospitals and traffic lights. Then everybody else comes along next.
And Florida Power and Light is mobilized.
That's just kind of hanging and blowing in the wind. But I want to talk to Ann real quick. Ann, can we talk to you? So Ann lives here. She lives in one of those upper units, but she has to evacuate. It's not safe for her to stay here. So Ann, first of all, I want to say I'm so sorry that this happened to you.
Yeah.
Now, you were not home at the time, correct?
No, we left because, you know, we didn't know if it was going to be category 3 or 2 or what, but we've never experienced a hurricane, so we went to shelter. We were at the Oak Cove, fortunately. But when we got back this morning, the insulation of the roof, as you saw here, you know, had just flown off. And so fortunately the roof has cement, so the water's filtered through into our sitting room and the kitchen and the bathroom. So the carpet's totally wet and our papers and stuff, some furniture, but at least we're alive, you know. We're so grateful that it wasn't like in the Caribbean. I mean, it could have been terrible.
Absolutely. So, and you just mentioned you weren't home at the time. I mean, that is a miracle that you weren't, because imagine what would have happened if you would have been inside that building as the roof was getting ripped off.
That's right, totally. And in fact, our car would have also got smashed, because usually we park it here. And as you see, a piece of roof would have gone straight on it. And it would have been a disaster. I mean, some really brave ladies stayed. And they said, well, at about 2 in the morning, it was horrific, you know, the sound. But it could have been much worse. But, we're glad to be alive. And we just, bit by bit, we're taking it to the car and we're going to go to see where we can stay tonight. Well, we're on top of the world. We're going to try and stay over there.
Okay, so you do have a safe place to go tonight, correct?
Hopefully, we just need to see how that place is No, yes.
Well, keep us posted on that because we want to make sure that you do have a safe place. Meantime, you gave us permission to go inside and check out your unit. Let's go ahead real quick. We're going to go up the stairs here on so that we can go and just check out the damage. This is a 55-plus apartment community. If you're familiar with Clearwater, we're just at the area near Drew and Cleveland. We were just at a gas station about 15 minutes ago. That was another place that saw some pretty bad roof damage. In fact, the owner told me he thought it was a total loss, but he does want to rebuild. So we're just going to go up into On's unit. Bear with us as we take the trip. It's number 10 here. Just unbelievable, though. I mean, as we kind of get a bird's eye view of what happened with the roof and these cars, I mean, that insulation is just covering. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's on, I think, 5 different cars there. So let's see. Let's go ahead and go inside of On's unit. She's giving us permission to look at the damage here. Wow. Yeah, you can see this is very wet. So you have a big water problem right now.
That's right. It's leaking. It's still leaking from the roof. In fact, now it's going downstairs to the laundry below.
Oh, so it's even going into the lower unit below you. Okay.
So we quickly have to get a company to come and put some lawn awning or something, plastic on the top of the roof, so it doesn't continue.
Sure. And even just being inside of here, I can hear the dripping, and we can even see too. There's some water collecting on your slider too, and also too stepping on this carpet.
Well, it looks like we lost that live shot there, but I tell you, so far, Laura, what I'm seeing, we've seen roofs ripped off of apartment buildings. We've seen trees, big oak trees down. We've seen widespread power outages. We've seen floods in Hernando County. Irma picked her victims randomly in a way, because other people don't have that to deal with this morning. Other people are just fine, but storms are not fair. They don't dole out the damage evenly.
And one thing that I found very, very interesting earlier today, we always show you those pictures of Bayshore Boulevard when it rains outside.
Right.
It's inevitable that it's going to flood. It just seems like it's something that we all know. I've only lived here for 5 years, and that's something I know is fact. This morning we woke up, people were taking pictures of Bayshore Boulevard, and it looked like it might have rained yesterday. It was just incredible. So just to see the juxtaposition of what's happening in a place where you thought it was going to flood, as opposed to a place like Hernando County right now, and they can't have school for the rest of the week.
Right.
So it's just interesting. I got a couple updates for you though right now. I know we've been talking about gas in our area and the shortage. We just got this update. It's an official response. This coming in right now. We've got it from our investigative team, basically saying Hurricane Irma has impacted gas supply. The Atlantic coast is experiencing a gas shortage. As a result, we are doing everything we can to provide gas to our customers as it becomes available. That came from 7-Eleven. We're waiting on some responses from other people. Also, there's an update right now from Publix supermarkets, because we're trying to find you places where you can go get fresh food for you and your family. Our Rodney Dunnigan is reporting right now. He's been told they hope to have the stores in the Tampa Bay area open at their regular time by tomorrow morning.
So one more day without that resource for people to go to. And obviously the folks at those businesses, they have a lot of work to do themselves. And just to give you another example here of some of the information, 395,000 people experiencing power outages in Pinellas County, 70% of Duke Energy customers. So Pinellas County, from Clearwater down to St. Petersburg, having to deal with some issues this morning.
Sure. Just one more thing I was going to add. I'm looking at this number right now because we've got the ticker up here. 54% of TECO customers do have power right now. Important to note, though, when we got on the air at 11 o'clock, you and I, that number was 62. So it might be going down. All right, we're going to check on weather right now, see what's going on outside your door.
So far, so good. As we go into the afternoon hours, by the way, I'm one of the TECO customers and I still don't have power in my house. So I'm with you guys. That's why I'm here at the station where we do have power, and I can continue to give you the updates. And a great update to talk about this afternoon is that now the tropical storm warnings that were up for all of us after they dropped the hurricane warning and replaced it with the tropical storm warning has now been canceled from Tampa Bay south. So from Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and Polk County south, including Bradenton, Sarasota, over towards all of the area, we're talking about no threat for any more tropical storm force conditions out there in these areas. Now, we still continue that risk for us in Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties, also through Sumter County, too. We're looking at the tropical storm warning continuing for at least a couple of more hours, but it will likely be canceled as Irma continues to move away from us and we start to see all of the areas winds reducing. We've already had that where I'm looking at most of the gusts now about 34 to 35 miles per hour. Remember, with tropical storm force winds, they begin at 39 miles per hour up to 73 miles per hour. So we're no longer concerned about that risk for us. However, there is what's left of Irma. Still a tropical storm, winds at 65 miles per hour as it moves into South Georgia and heads up towards the Atlanta and Birmingham metro areas over the next 2 days. But for us, as it moves farther and farther away, it has less impacts on our forecast. So as early as tomorrow, we're back to a normal summertime thunderstorm, hot, humid pattern here in Florida. So if you do have some of those areas of cleanup that you want to knock out, definitely today's the day. It'll be a little bit cooler today, although it will be hot and humid, of course. But tomorrow we're back up to near 90. I think today will be closer to 84 as we go to the afternoon, late afternoon hours. So a couple of showers lingering. Of course, the circulation still bringing in that onshore flow. So until that onshore flow subsides, we'll have that shower chance in your forecast today. But again, a limited risk for a few sprinkles. We've got some near Brooksville and Crystal River. Also a couple just to the east of Tampa now in Apollo Beach. And as we zoom in a little bit towards the St. Pete area, a couple of showers here. And you guys were just talking about 70% outages here for some customers there. So we'll continue to watch the radar. But again, we're not looking at any high impact system rolling through the area today. No threat for any more severe weather or damaging winds. Nothing like that. That's all out of here. But as we look at the wind gusts, again, most of them now, if not all of them, are back below that criteria for tropical storm force winds. So 25 to 35 mile per hour winds. We'll see these tapering off closer to 20 miles per hour later today. And then as we look at futurecast, notice the green indicates where we have rain chances. That chance will be with us, 20 to 30% chance today. Temperatures around 84 for a high. Then as we look to tomorrow morning, isolated shower, temperatures back into the low 70s inland, mid 70s closer to I-75, and then upper 70s to near 80 along the coast. A couple of showers possible tomorrow, but the bigger story for cleanup and no electricity is going to be the heat's back. So we're looking at upper 80s to near 90 degrees, and that 90-degree temperature will actually feel like it's into the mid to upper 90s when you factor in that higher humidity. Still be a little breezy tomorrow, but we're talking about 25 mile per hour winds, certainly nothing that's of the severe nature. And then as we go through the rest of the upcoming week, your extended forecast, again, back to that typical summertime pattern. We'll have a chance of thunderstorms with highs into the upper 80s and low 90s, feeling closer to 100 degrees prior to the rainfall arrival, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. Well, Hurricane Irma left its mark on plenty of places, including Bradenton.
Ryan Smith joining us live right now with a look at the damage there. Ryan.
Yeah, you know, we've been surveying the entire Manatee County community this morning, and so far we've noticed severe damage is minimal. That's the good thing. But I asked the sheriff this morning who got hit the worst, and it's no surprise he led us right here to this home off of 6th Street East off of State Road 70. Take a look at this. This is a ficus tree. It's been here for more than 30 years, but you can see Hurricane Irma's winds ripped the roots right from underneath this ficus tree, and it brought up much of the family's concrete driveway and their home. If you look up, you can see this beach chair, actually, which once sat on the front porch here. Now it's lodged in between the tree's roots and part of the home. It's just an incredible sight to show what destructive path this hurricane took right here in Bradenton. I'm going to walk inside, step inside the house here, and you can see a lot of this area was damaged as well. The family here, David and Lisa, tell me, thankfully, this is just an addition to the house. And get this, the main portion of the house, that's where they rode out the storm, completely untouched. They were fine. They just heard howling winds, they said, around midnight, and then they came to find this not long after. The good news here is everyone is doing A-okay, no injuries to report, and they have really good spirits about all this, guys. We talked to them in length earlier just a few minutes ago, and they said, you know what, materials are one thing, human lives and injuries are something completely different. So they're just thankful that they are okay and all this can be repaired. Now, it's likely going to get condemned, I'm told, but they have family who they can stay with over the next few days as they figure out the next steps for this home. Reporting live in Bradenton, Ryan Smith, ABC Action News.
Wow, Ryan, thank you. Your heart goes out to that family and those folks there, but at least they have a support system and they are okay. If you have your health, you have everything. From the southern part of our viewing area there in Bradenton, where Ryan was, to the northern part, I'm getting reports from viewer Jim Hall. Jim Hall just emailing me in Hernando County, southern Hernando. A big limb of a tree fell on his house, put 4 holes in his roof, and the power is out. So the trees down all across our area. And Tampa Bay, as everyone knows, is a huge area geographically, and 4+ million people throughout the area here. And Irma is leaving a mark in different ways for different people.
Right now, I believe our Michael Paluska is still in the Naples area. There he is outside now. Michael, just some incredible and devastating pictures you're getting for us right now.
Laura, Paul, Tampa Bay dodged a bullet. We got really lucky. We're in Naples Estates, a neighborhood here that got slammed by Hurricane Irma. I mean, I'm going to take you on an awful tour of this area and just show you what these people are dealing with. This is a mobile home park, and it's for senior residents 55+, and a lot of them said they have difficulty getting insurance here, so a lot of them don't have insurance. That house at the very end down there is flattened. There is debris everywhere. It just picked up steel and moved it and put it wherever it wanted. There's a couch right there that's on the area that probably used to be a sitting area, and then all of the roofs in most of these areas are ripped off. The crazy thing about this is that residents actually said after the storm passed through, some of them came back in here just to assess the damage. They came back in, they looked, they still had their roofs, they still had everything really intact, and then they came back this morning and it looked like this. They think maybe a tornado dropped down and caused this damage. Of course, that'll have to be confirmed by the National Weather Service, but I've covered some destructive tornadoes, and this looks like the eating path of a tornado that picks things up as it wants and chooses which mobile home. Been a mix of something that's even more terrifying, at least to me, are tornadoes. Now, Olga lives in this home here. We're going to take you inside. She said that she just bought in December. This was their retirement home. They plan to live out their golden years here, and this is what they have to deal with. Now, the reason why I was saying maybe this was a tornado is because she told us she did come back. She checked to see how her mobile home was looking, and she was able to actually go inside. The roof was still on the building at the time she came back late last night, and then she decided to come back this morning, obviously thinking that she could probably just do a little bit of cleanup, and this is what she has. So Olga said she's going to talk to us. I'll go grab her real quick, and my photographer and I will sort of walk into her house, which we were invited into. We're not just randomly walking in. Hi, Olga.
Here, let me let you go. I'll call you back.
Oh, she's on the phone. Hi, Olga. Michael Paluska, again with ABC Action News. What's your last name, ma'am?
Teakle.
Teakle. How do I spell that?
Teakell.
You got it. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. You were telling me earlier, yeah, you came home and it was okay yesterday, like manageable?
Yes, we came home and the porch was gone up front. Part of the carport in the back over here.
We'll follow you.
Yeah,
So part of the
let me give you the tour, right?
Sure, the tour.
Yeah, this was half gone. Okay.
Okay.
This was all here yesterday. This is what we call our utility. It had a roof.
So you had a roof there yesterday?
Yes. And this roof that you see up here was all down when we came home after the storm yesterday before it got dark.
Gotcha. So you think maybe a tornado?
Something happened afterwards because it was not like this.
How hard is this for you guys? I know you told me you don't have insurance. This was your retirement home. You know, you're going to just enjoy life here in Naples, a beautiful place.
It's very difficult. We don't know what we're going to do right now. We're just trying to get, wrap our heads around what has happened. Yeah. And like I said, we had just bought the place.
Sure.
We've been here a year. We remodeled. All of this is brand new. Granite tops. You can see the water now on the floor.
Yeah, new floors.
I'm kind of, oh yeah.
Yeah,
we got it in.
Brand new granite, nice cabinets, yeah.
Yep, brand new kitchen.
So you think yesterday you're leaving, I'm going to get you, just spin you around here away from that light, but yesterday you're leaving, and what are you thinking? You evacuated, obviously, thank God. What are you thinking, that this might happen at all?
No, we thought today when we would come back, we would do some cleanup. We will be able to salvage, cover the roof, protect ourselves farther, But now when we came today, we found out that the guest bedroom is completely this was dry yesterday afternoon after the storm. So this happened during the evening.
You got it. Well, Olga, thank you for letting us into your home, unfortunately, for a tour of destruction. Unfortunately, also, this is just one home out of many in Naples Estates that are like that. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank God she got out of there and evacuated, and that's the one thing you hold on to, but it doesn't minimize the fact that there are people throughout the state of Florida that have really bad damage to their homes, and that really is going to mess up their lives. You know, there's no other way to put it. For weeks, months, and now they have really difficult decisions to make about how to move on.
And we've got reporters all across the Bay Area for you right now. We're going to go to break first. As soon as we come back, some new information for you.
Welcome back to our live team coverage today, the day after the disaster we call Hurricane Irma. And Clifton French has been on the road. I think I'm going to call Clifton the road warrior.
Renegade all weekend.
He's down in Fort Myers Beach this morning looking at damage down there.
And Clifton's been seeing some of that damage. Clifton, okay, so now it's windy behind you again. These conditions just keep changing.
Yeah. Well, you know, we moved out to the beach, and so we're going to get more wind out here, you know, along the Gulf of Mexico. But you can see how choppy it is. This is, you know, an extra windy day. And you know, I lived out here. Paul has lived out here before. You know that this is not normal, what we're seeing out here. The water is definitely a lot further up. Now, yesterday, before the storm came through, it had pulled all of this water out. If we can go and if we can just look back at the pier over here, all of the pilings, they were completely exposed before this storm. This is essentially the surge that's coming up on this beach. I'm not sure if any water made it over the parking lot that we're in, but I am told by the businesses back here. This is called Times Square in Fort Myers Beach. It's a popular area. I'm told by some business owners who were over here that they didn't get much, that everything seems to be intact. There is some structural damage to some stuff that was outside, awnings, things of that nature. But I'm not hearing of any water damage, which everybody essentially was expecting this time yesterday. They were prepared, but they expected to have some significant damage, and now everybody's just extremely happy that didn't happen. One thing that we are seeing out here, just like we've been seeing across Fort Myers and inland, has been trees and different things that have been knocked down. But everybody here extremely grateful that it didn't get as bad as it did. I think people who do have some damage are still grateful because, you know, they were expecting much worse.
Looks like the Atlantic Ocean, not the Gulf of Mexico behind you. It is churning up pretty good there as that wind is still coming onshore. Clifton and I both used to live and work in Fort Myers, and he's standing on one of the more popular tourist destinations. Hopefully that wind that he's getting doesn't do any damage as this storm continues to have an impact. Right. We have a live look here at Pinellas Park, I believe, at the roads here.
Yeah, and it's shocking to me, though. Look, everything looks to be intact for right now, and I don't think anybody's really had that much time to do any cleanup. And definitely a lot of people are on the roads right now. We just continue to caution people, though. All the bridges are open for right now, except the Skyway. But we just want to caution people, if you're going to get out on the road, many people just want to get back to their homes, see what it looks like, or even just to go find some food. Just be careful, because there are definitely down trees, down power lines. Causeway temporarily shut down right now because there's a tree down. Our producer just told us that information, so there's that. Real-time information.
A lot of people are out and about this morning. I could sense the energy people have to get up and at them and get back to normal, and they are out there working to piece their lives back together or find gas or find food. And they're also dealing with power outages, which we're still assessing right now. We want to go to an update from Sarasota County's Emergency Management Operations Center, giving us new information here of the situation in Sarasota County.
Let's listen in.
Today, by the school administration will make that announcement. They're going to make every effort to get the schools ready, but they will announce if that's possible. Please stay tuned to the local media. Call 861-5000 or look at our social media. You can also post issues to the county See, Click, Fix app. With that, I'll take any questions that you might have.
Isabel at 10 News. Chief, looking at assessing the damage of what it could have been and what it is, we're definitely very lucky, but what would you say was the worst damage that we're seeing that's being the most challenging for the county?
The power outages, I would say. There are trees down, there's debris. The storm surge looked like it was maybe 3 to 5 in some areas, but nothing catastrophic. It was the power outages, the wind effect, trees taking down power lines and such.
Any homes damaged or anyone out of their home because of it?
We're getting reports of that. I personally have not had any specific reports, but we're asking people to report damages, to report issues, so that we can assist them.
And just a follow-up, lesson learned from this storm?
Oh, too many to count right now. There are a lot, but one of the best things out of this was we learned that all of our partners are on board. We say Sarasota County is one team as county government. We're one big team with our city partners, the school board, the National Guard. I mean, I don't want to miss anybody, but everybody came on board, and it was incredible. And we had some challenges, and we overcame them together calmly and effectively.
A similar question. As you go through this, are there any obstacles that you see? I know we're not at the end yet, but are there still obstacles that you're still trying to overcome as far as management?
No.
All right, assessing the damage there in Sarasota County. An update from the Sarasota County Emergency Management Department. They're talking about power outages. And Laura, really, that is the pain in everyone's neck this morning, is the power outages from the southern part of our viewing area to the northern and out to the east area. No one escaped that.
No, more than 4 million people, more than 4 million Floridians without power right now. Many of those in South Florida, but many of those we're seeing right here in our area. And that number continues to change as we're on the air right now.
And I say no one escaped it. Yes, obviously there are people out there who are fortunate, a lot of people who are fortunate to still have power, but a lot of people, as we just mentioned, widespread throughout our area that are dealing with power outages. And even if your home doesn't have power, there are businesses that may not have power. So that really is, I think, the top priority for all of these emergency managers, trying to get the power back on. So you get the power back on, you're in business, right? You got gas and you're cooking again.
And speaking of the power, Sarasota County schools are closed until Tuesday. Hernando County schools are closed throughout this week.